When the real heiress returned, I gracefully stepped aside. To keep living the high life, I set my sights on my childhood friend's insanely rich, mute older brother. At a party, I cornered the guy in his wheelchair against a wall. "Hey, you need a cane? I'm a weightlifter. I could even lift you. Wanna try? It's a real rush. Once you try it, you'll be hooked." Larry Cain just shook his head, so I put on a show right then and there by lifting a potted tree. But then my hand slipped and I slapped him on the leg. A loud curse echoed through the mansion, and a bodyguard came sliding in on his knees. "You're a miracle worker. In all these years, you're the first woman to make the young master speak." At the welcome party for the real heiress, my eyes locked onto the man in the wheelchair. Larry Cain was just staring into space, chin in his hand, with this world-weary look in his eyes. What a helpless, beautiful man. So, I snuck up behind him, grabbed his wheelchair, and took off like a shot. Screech. Gasping for breath, I slammed his chair against the wall, pinning him. "Mr. Cain, how about we have a love affair that feels like a home invasion? You get my love, I get your money." The man looked completely stunned, frowning and gesturing wildly with his hands. "Sorry, can't understand you, don't speak sign language." Thump. I put my foot up on the wall, cornering him again, ready to force the issue. "Hey, you need a cane? I'm a weightlifter. My biceps are rock solid. You'll feel totally safe with me." Larry just stared at me like I was an idiot. I quickly whipped out my shiny certificate. "I'm seriously a national-level athlete." His gaze darkened, his fair face thoughtful, and his eyes landed on a nearby potted plant. I immediately hoisted the money tree and gave a live weightlifting performance. A 360-degree spin, with some spiraling hand flourishes. "So, how much do you weigh? I could lift you too. Wanna try? It's a real rush. You'll be hooked." At this, he suddenly blushed and shook his head like crazy. When a man says no, he means yes. When I reached for him, Larry dodged me in a flash. Well, that was great. I hit the wrong spot. Shit. A deep curse echoed through the mansion, and tons of bodyguards in black suits came sliding in on their knees. "A miracle worker. In all these years, you're the first woman to make the young master speak. Miss, what on earth did you do?" Larry's pale face was completely red. He looked like he was in pain, but also, in ecstasy. He stammered, "HNNGH. I immediately got the picture and jumped in. He says he's about to die from pleasure. Might as well spin everything to sound as dirty as possible." The words were barely out of my mouth when the head bodyguard's eyes went wide. He covered his face and ran out of the room. "Boo-hoo, I have to tell the old master. Our young master is finally showing some interest. Sir, your son really isn't gay." Meanwhile, Larry had already closed his eyes and passed out in his wheelchair, with a couple of charming teardrops clinging to his lashes. Oh my God, why did the young master faint? I scratched my butt and made a quiet exit. Maybe he had a little too much fun. You should probably get him to a hospital. I'm so screwed. Did I really just knock out the Cain family's eldest son, the one they've coddled his whole life, with a single slap? When in doubt, run. By the time I teleported onto my bestie scooter, the mansion was lit up like a Christmas tree. Quick, find the woman who was alone with Mr. Cain. The old master is offering a huge reward. Just as I slipped out the gate, my childhood friend, Dex, called. "Viv, you won't believe this. Some woman slapped my brother's junk so hard she broke it. He's completely ruined now. Grandpa's furious and swears he'll find the person who did it." My bestie heard this and her face went pale. "Viv, maybe you should go back to the lanes and beg for help. Your parents used to dote on you, I'm sure they'll." No way. The real daughter who suffered for years is finally home. What am I, the fake, supposed to do? That would be me. That night, I pulled 2 sticks from the yard and went inside to beg for forgiveness. Mommy. Your little Viv is home. The moment my mom saw me, her usual gentle and elegant demeanor vanished. She grabbed a throw pillow and chucked it at me. Where the hell have you been? You had me looking for you all day. Anna walked toward me with a smile, her delicate face beaming with happiness. Sister, you're finally home. Here, take my gift. I stared at the intricately woven bracelet on my wrist, completely bewildered. Wait a minute, sis. Aren't we supposed to be doing the whole real versus fake heiress catfight thing? Hearing this, my brother Ian slapped me upside the head, making my ears ring. Your first priority is to delete whatever trashy web novel app you're reading. The Lane family is huge. You think we can't afford to support a freeloader like you? You didn't run away just because Anna came back, did you? As soon as he finished, my dad put down his teacup with a serious expression. Nonsense. You're too old to be jealous of your sister. Vivian, even if you're not our biological daughter, I'll still treat you the same. No matter what disaster you cause, your dad will be here to take the fall. My mom smiled gently, clasping both of our hands tightly. That's right. You're both treasures of the Lane family. Mom, Dad. You can't blame me for this. You're the ones who said you'd take the fall. Right then and there, I dropped to my knees. The thud was loud, the movement smooth. Mom. Dad. Your daughter has failed you. At the party tonight, the woman who broke Larry Cain's junk, that was me. For sharp gasps echoed in the room, powerful enough to shatter the glass on the table. Honey, don't hold me back. I'm going to kill this little monster today. When she insisted on taking up weightlifting, I was against it. What kind of high society girl lifts 30-kilo dumbbells? You all said we should nurture her special talents. Well, look where that got us. Oh, Viv, of all the people to mess with, you had to pick that sickly young master? That's like poking a tiger. You've really signed your own death warrant. My dad was so mad his hair was practically standing on end. My mom was so anxious she started crying. Anna knelt beside me and started pleading too. Daddy, sister just made a mistake, she didn't mean it. Besides, she's not blood related, so they can't blame the Lane family for this, right? Whoops, did someone just show their true colors? Only my brother remained calm, a thoughtful look on his face. Vivian. The old Mr. Cain has put out an order. They have to find you. If the truth comes out, our family is finished. His words scared the tears right out of my eyes. I looked at them pitifully and said, Mom, Dad, I'll take responsibility for this alone. Sob, I'll go face the Cain's guillotine. I was always an unloved orphan anyway, not your real daughter. Sooner or later, I'm toast. I cried so dramatically that my mom slapped my dad on his shiny forehead. Do something. Vivian has called you Dad for over a decade. Once a father, always a father. Hearing this, my brother pouted. At this point, there's only one thing we can do. My eyes instantly lit up. Wait, Ian, why are you tying me up and sending me to the Cains? Seduction. The whole family went over to apologize, with me being the only one in toy handcuffs. My brother called it, making sure you don't lift anything you're not supposed to. Just when everyone expected the old man to fly into a rage and beat me to a pulp, he hugged me, tears streaming down his face. Miracle worker, please tell Grandpa, is Larry really okay now? Can he really get it up? I can't believe it. You just lifted something once and he's cured? Hearing this, I almost burst out laughing. Miracle worker, this is an emergency. Can my grandson still be saved? Sir, do you want to save the mother or the child? Wait, no. I gave him a regretful look, sighed, and acted like it was a lost cause. Even the greatest doctor in the world couldn't save him now. My condolences, my condolences. The words were barely out when Mr. Cain grabbed me and started wailing, wiping his snot and tears all over my arm. It must have been a final burst of energy before the end. I knew it. He's been out of commission for so many years. How could he possibly be fixed just like that? It's true what they say, you never get tired of doing bad things. Under everyone's watchful eyes, I had to suppress my laughter while trying to console him. Then I heard the sound of a wheelchair behind me and suddenly felt a chill run down my spine. "Sir, the young master says he'd like to speak with Mississippi Lane." "Go on, miracle worker." In the blink of an eye, Mr. Cain vanished, leaving me standing there awkwardly. I turned my head and met Larry's resentful gaze. "Mr. Cain, long time no see, huh? We used to play together all the time as kids. You know, you played at your house, and I played at mine, ha ha ha." Larry's face grew darker and darker, like black ink. I immediately put on a smile and grabbed the wheelchair handles like a total suck-up. With a clap of thunder, your humble servant appears. "What is your command, my lord?" I'd only pushed him a few feet when Larry put his foot down and stood up from the wheelchair. He crossed his arms, staring at me with a cold, pissed-off expression. "You're a miracle worker. In all these years, you're the first woman to make the young master stand up." The bodyguard's cry echoed in my ears again. My mouth twitched. "Mr. Cain? Your legs aren't broken, sniffle, thank God, the heavens have blessed us." But my eyes couldn't help drifting to places they shouldn't. Fair skin, visible veins, broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and a great ass. Too bad he's impotent in his prime. What a waste of good hardware. Just then, my phone rang and I accidentally hit the speaker button. Dex's grating voice was crying and wailing on the other end. "Viv, I'm begging Grandpa right now, boo-hoo. If he really loses it, I'll marry you. I'm sure my big brother, for my sake, will let it slide." Larry reached over, ended the call, and pulled me into a nearby guest room. The man lifted his eyes, the corners downturned. He rested his long, pale wrist against my collarbone, his expression displeased. A faint minty scent filled my nose, and I suddenly found it familiar. "Mr. Cain?" I frowned, then looked down and blushed. "Hey, you're perfectly fine, aren't you? Nothing's broken." Larry's face, normally pale from his illness, was now as red as the sunset. Mortified, he quickly pulled out his phone and typed. "Nothing was ever wrong. You know, your terrible punctuation reminds me of someone I used to know." At my words, the man's eyes flickered, lighting up like a puppy waiting for a treat. "Like who?" I stammered, "Like my son, I mean, my ex-boyfriend from online." You both love to end every sentence with a period. The minty scent grew stronger as Larry moved closer. He leaned in, his narrow eyes filled with a mix of panic and nervousness. "So why did you two break up?" I read the words, completely baffled. "We just weren't a good fit. He wouldn't send me a picture, wouldn't even do a voice call. All he did was text. You would have thought I was dating a customer service bot." Hearing this, Larry froze in the shadows, his body stiffening. He just stood there, confused and helpless. Seizing the opportunity, I made a run for it. "Mr. Cain, since nothing's broken, I'll be heading out. There was a gas explosion at my house. I have to go take care of a bunch of old and sick relatives." I finally made it home and but had barely warmed the sofa cushion. My mom suddenly leaned in, her big eyes wide with gossip. "Vivian, how come you're back from the Cains so soon? Didn't Larry settle the score with you? He's got a screw loose." I was afraid it was contagious, so I came home. "Ow." My brother smacked me. He said sternly, "You, a shut-in who never leaves the house, a lazy bum who'd rather lie down than sit, when did you get to know the great Larry Cain? Spit it out." The old man talked to Dad about arranging a marriage between our families. Hearing this, I sprayed a mouthful of soda all over the coffee table. "Ian, are you hallucinating on mushrooms? Larry Cain wants to marry me? Did he eat some weird mushrooms too?" My dad shook his head, looking like he was ready to face his doom. We probably can't refuse the Cain marriage. Otherwise, my company will be ruined. Vivian, Larry has been a recluse for years, and his personality is unpredictable. They say men who are impotent have certain special tastes. If you marry him, it'll be like walking into your own tomb. Are you really willing to marry him? After hearing this terrible news, I tossed and turned all night, unable to sleep. In the middle of the night, Anna knocked on my door. Sister, you in there? Her lips were curved up in a 90-degree smile, and she was wearing a brand new Bulgari necklace. She looked exactly like one of those grandmas in the neighborhood bragging about their fat grandson. Actually, Mr. Cain asked for the eldest daughter of the Lane family. But since you're older than me, sister, I reluctantly gave the honor to you. The moment Anna entered, she craned her neck, looking all around. When she saw my limited edition Chanel bag, her eyes lit up. Well, what do you know? This green tea sister and I have the same expensive taste. Then, Anna accidentally spilled the milk she was holding all over my bag. She apologized while dropping not so subtle hints. Oh, sister, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault for being so clumsy and getting your bag dirty. Let me wipe it clean for you. Just then, my brother pushed the door open, rubbing his sleepy eyes. What are you two yelling about? Seeing him, Anna, who had been fondling my bag a second ago, dropped to the floor with a thud. She clutched her bleeding finger and started apologizing profusely to me. Brother, I'm sorry we woke you. It's all my fault, don't blame sister. I spilled the milk by accident, it has nothing to do with sister, boo-hoo, it serves me right for cutting my finger. Seriously, what is Hollywood even doing? How did they let a diamond like Anna slip through the cracks? I pointed at the ceiling with a fake smile. Anna. Next time you want to play the victim, could you maybe find a spot without a security camera? The three of us fell silent. Anna weakly retorted, what kind of normal person puts a security camera in their own room? I then grabbed her finger, stuck it in my mouth, and licked it before grinning widely. Next time, don't use ketchup to fake a bloody wound. I've used that trick so many times Mom and Dad have PTSD from it. But, I can teach you how to get Mom's limited edition bags. All you have to do is... I leaned in and whispered in Anna's ear. The next second, she was clinging to my leg for dear life, her eyes sparkling. Oh, Vivian, my queen, I'll be your loyal servant forever. Please take me in. Adopt me. Just then, the Cain family called again. Miracle worker, you have to come quick. The second time the young master has spoken in years was to demand to see you. He's relapsed. He has a high fever and is in a deep coma. When I arrived, Larry was delirious, mumbling my name over and over. Vivian. The old Mr. Cain was flushed with anxiety. Miracle worker, you have to save my grandson. This just proves you shouldn't pretend to be something you're not. I was sweating nervously, so I could only kneel by the bed, hold Larry's hand tightly, and silently chant, Arise, my master. 300 times. Hey. It actually worked. He woke up. The weak man squinted his eyes and pulled me into an embrace, hot tears streaming down his face. Mr. Cain choked up beside us, playing the sympathy card. When he was 8, Larry was in a car accident with his parents. He was lucky to survive, but it left him with autism, and he never spoke a word again. A few years ago, he suddenly started smiling at his phone all day, happy as a clam. But after a few months of that, the bodyguards told me some girl had dumped him. Miracle worker, are you confident you can cure his autism? Money is no object, name your price. Hearing this, I nodded vigorously, hugging the young master in my arms even tighter. Ugh, I'm such an idiot. How could I say he has a screw loose? This is clearly a walking ATM. My eyes fell on Larry's necklace, and it looked very familiar. Just as I reached out to touch it, a bodyguard quickly stopped me. Miracle worker, that's a gift from his ex-girlfriend. It's his trigger. Anyone who touches it dies. I snatched my hand back in fear. Sigh. Our young master has had it rough, getting dumped in an online relationship. The reason for the breakup was something like, a gas explosion at her house destroyed all her phones, and she could only be contacted on a kid's smartwatch from now on. Hearing this, I slapped Larry on his fine ass. Who was that girl? She's a terrible person. What kind of low-life excuse is that? The bodyguards all nodded in agreement. That evil woman played with our innocent young master's feelings, then hit and run. And she was always mailing him junk from her house, like half a bar of soap, used scratch paper, half an eraser, and our young master had to pay to have these things shipped to him. So shameless. If we ever find that girl, the young master will definitely not let her off easy. My heart skipped a beat when I heard that. Wow, talk about finding a kindred spirit. Someone else out there is as shameless as me and has pulled the same kind of crap. Just then, a bodyguard pulled me into a corner, cautiously took out his phone, and whispered. Miracle worker, do you recognize this jerk's profile? Holy crap. That super imperial avatar that says all my subjects, you may rise, wasn't that the account I used specifically for my online dating phase? This is so ridiculous. My mom opened the door for ridiculous and said, welcome home. It was that ridiculous. I immediately put on a serious, solemn face and replied, what if the gas explosion at her house was real? Who has a gas explosion 100 times? Is she trying to respawn or something? No way. The prince of high society is my ex-online boyfriend? After Larry had fallen into a deep sleep, I rubbed my sore shoulders and prepared to go home. Vivian, sister. I never knew you could heal people. Dex opened the car door, his round eyes, for once, showing a hint of probing. Hearing him, I jumped up and smacked him on the knee. I am the reincarnation of a master physician, specializing in treating reclusive, autistic children. Dex froze for a moment, then pouted. And here I thought our decade-long friendship meant something. I had no idea you and my brother had a thing going on. The man turned to look out the window, his voice tinged with jealousy. His words were a wake-up call. After all, our online relationship was 3 years ago, and I was the one who dumped Larry. Could he have already recognized me, the treacherous scoundrel? And now he's going to get even with me. Suddenly, I felt like my life was flashing before my eyes. Dex, what's your brother like? As soon as I spoke, the man beside me turned his head slightly. When he looked at me, his eyes were surprisingly moist. He's been coddled his whole life, treated like a king by the family. He's a bit of a loner and often looks down on people. You knew treating him was just a front, so why didn't you refuse? Dex's voice was high-pitched, making his hair practically stand on end. He sounded anxious and helpless. I rubbed my aching brow and patted his head like I used to when we were kids. Grown-up business. Little kids shouldn't worry so much. Besides, I really do want to try and cure Larry's condition. The next second, Dex, with red-rimmed eyes, pushed me back against the car seat. Why? Why did you choose him? The man's broad shoulders trembled slightly, his voice getting lower with each word. I was here first. Meeting his unfocused gaze, I was completely confused and pushed him away instinctively. Dex, did you hit your head with a golf club? What are you muttering about? I think I need to sprinkle some salt on you to exorcise whatever that was. Just as I was about to open the car door, Dex gently tugged on my shirt. His round, puppy dog eyes were soft. He shed his gloomy, strange aura and smiled at me sweetly, just like he always did. See you next time, Vivian. I'll miss you. The moment I stepped into my own house, my dizziness vanished and I was wide awake. Who the hell dug up the money tree I planted in the yard? Quick, quick, get those money plants over there too. Hearing the scheming voices from the backyard, I grabbed a shovel from the lawn, ready to give the thief a loving pat. Anyone who messes with my money deserves to die. It wasn't quite light out yet. In the dim moonlight, a portly man was squatting on the ground, digging up my precious plants. Without hesitation, I aimed for his big butt and swung the shovel. Stealing from me? You've got some nerve. A pig-like squeal pierced the air, and Anna scrambled to my feet. Sister, Sniffle, you're finally back safely. You scared me to death. Vivian Lane, you heartless monster. You tried to murder your own brother. I rubbed my bloodshot eyes and realized the man was my brother. He was clutching his rear end, hopping around in pain. Ha ha ha, Ian, my bad, my bad. I thought you were a thief. Anyway, what are you doing moving plants around? My dad, hearing the commotion, ran out barefoot and gave me a huge hug. My girl, I thought I'd never see you again. No time to joke around. We're packing up and leaving right now. My mom wiped away her tears, ushering everyone inside as she cried. As long as you're back safely. We'll move before dawn. Even if the Cains come looking for their bride, the house will be empty. Those local tyrants won't be able to do a thing to us, ha ha ha. I frowned and replied, the Cains just asked me to treat an illness. You've all misunderstood. Sis, if you've been kidnapped by them, just make a peace sign. My brother held my shoulders with a serious look on his face. In response, I gave him a big, fat middle finger. I bolted and dashed into my room. I started rummaging under my bed, organizing my spoils of war, a collection of limited edition handbags. After counting for a while and confirming nothing was missing, I patted my butt in relief and crawled out. Vivian Lane. So this is where all my missing bags have been? You even hid my favorite alligator skin one. Before the slap could land, my mom's perfume arrived. As I dodged and weaved, my dad suddenly pulled out a cardboard box. Honey, is this old phone yours? Seeing the pink Hello Kitty case, a dead memory came back to attack me. Wasn't this the little phone I used for my online relationship? As soon as I logged into my DMs, over 99 notifications from my special someone popped up. Babe, I'll send you a picture, I'll call you, just please don't disappear, okay? Babe, don't you love money? I'll give you all my money, will you come back? Babe, Happy New Year. Babe, I miss you so much. I clicked on a voice message, and my heart skipped a beat. Babe, I didn't mean to not call you. I'm really sick. It's hard for me to talk because of my autism. But babe, I'm trying hard to learn to speak now. Listen, aren't I being good? So why haven't you come back yet? Larry's voice was very low, his words stumbling, with a hint of a sob at the end. He had been sending messages like this for 3 years. The most recent one was, Babe, I met someone at the party who looks a lot like you. Her voice is so similar. I miss you so much. Instantly, my heart twisted into a knot. In my most innocent year, Larry and I met in a group chat. My avatar was an emperor, his was a plain black square. My username was your daddy, he didn't have a name. I was a chatterbox, couldn't go a minute without talking. He was ice cold, and it seemed like speaking one word would kill him. So, with nothing better to do, I harassed him with voice messages every single day. Hey, dark and mysterious, how come you never send voice messages? Is there a girl next to you kissing you quiet? Hey, dark and mysterious, you're not talking because you have a crush on me, right? Hey, dark and mysterious, did your money just call me master? You thief, I recognize my money anywhere. Give it back, or I'm calling the cops. Sent you 1K. Is that enough? Can you shut up now? Later, after 3 years of our online romance, we were glued to our phones, talking day and night. My dad yelled at me again today. Said I broke his favorite pot with my weights. But the pot totally threw itself at me. Babe, it wasn't my fault, right? Right. The pot was so rude. Couldn't it have just moved out of the way? I'm craving ice cream, but my mom won't let me. She said if I do, my butt will pay the price. I'll buy you ice cream. Babe, just wait until after your period to eat it, okay? Then, my parents found out I was dating someone. In a rage, they confiscated all my electronics. I'd never seen them team up like that before, and it scared me so much I deleted my account and ran. I left behind a breakup message. There was a gas explosion at my house. Everything blew up. All I have left is this kid's smartwatch. No internet, no power. Babe, let's break up. We were just ships passing in the night. Farewell. If it's meant to be, we'll meet again. Reading this, my frustration from the day melted into guilt. This was just too shameless. I couldn't even relate to my past self. To show my remorse, I decided I had to cure Larry's autism. Getting him to talk. How hard could that be? I was once the queen of the group chat, the chatty empress everyone loved to hate. So I immediately opened our DMs and let the words fly. Hi, long time no see. Hahaha, I didn't mean to ignore you back then, my internet just went out and finally got reconnected. Hello? My Wi-Fi just got fixed. Wanna get back together? Bro, send location. Life is short, only about 30,000 days. I missed out on you before you were 17, I don't want to miss you after you're 20. BTW, is it big? That felt a little forward, especially since he'd been impotent for years. I quickly unsent the last message. But a location popped up instantly from his side, along with a message. Babe, can we meet up one more time? I want to see you. Our first attempt to meet up years ago ended in disaster. I waited in the rain for a long time. I waited until my parents found me soaked to the bone and dragged me home, but he never showed up. I really wanted to ask Larry in person. Why did you stand me up when we made a promise? I just wanted to see him once. An online relationship is like a winter fog, with a blurry lover on the other side. I reached out my hand, but I couldn't grasp anything. I didn't have the courage to tell Larry the truth. I just wanted to cure his illness. Finish the job and run. That evening, Dex handed me a new handbag with a beaming smile. Vivian, my sister, long time no see. I've missed you so much. I pushed his clingy face away and rolled my eyes. All right, you can go, the bag can stay. You're a grown man, stop being so clingy. Suddenly, a cold glare hit me. Snap. Larry bent a fork in half. Mr. Cain's eyes widened in surprise as he asked me. Miracle worker, what's wrong with Larry? I grinned, pushing a plate of garlic oysters toward him. He said he was exhausted last night and needs to eat more of these to recharge. Dex's chopsticks blocked the plate. He said with a fake smile. Vivian, my brother doesn't eat garlic. I awkwardly pulled my hand back. It's fine, I'll eat it. Can you feed me, sister? Just like when we were little. Since I was at their house, I couldn't just embarrass them. I hesitantly picked up an oyster and moved it toward Dex. But the next second, Larry's long arm shot out, intercepted it, and he swallowed the oyster whole. He even smacked his lips deliberately, his beautiful eyes wide. His voice was halting. Who said? I don't. Eat it. Mr. Cain smiled and stroked his beard, then tossed me a black credit card. Miracle worker, I'm entrusting my grandson to you. I'm sure you can cure him. After dinner, I asked the bodyguards about Larry's condition and was shocked by what I heard. The young master isn't really sick. It's just autism, he just doesn't like to talk. He's no different from a normal person. I grew up with him. Other kids used to bully him and call him a mute. I was the one who fought them off. Back then, he would smile and tell me how strong I was. Later, he got obsessed with the internet, always on his phone, and stopped talking to us. Some problems can only be fixed by the heart. If he can't be cured, I'll just be his personal bodyguard for life. Hearing this, my heart stirred. He was never a mute. He just happened to be sick. With that, I pushed open the door to Larry's room. The room was clean. The light blue bedsheets were slightly wrinkled and looked a little old. I recognized them immediately. They were the matching bedsheets I had sent him years ago. I never thought he'd keep them all this time. A numb feeling spread through my chest, my heart thumping like a frightened deer. A heavily filtered, beautified selfie was placed squarely in the center of his desk. My smile vanished. Oh my God, was I really that tacky back then? I loved all those cringy filters. Just as I was about to sneak the photo away, I heard a noise from the bathroom. A pale hand emerged from the glass door, waving up and down as if signaling for something. Through the frosted glass, I could clearly see the outline of a man's body. Those perfectly sculpted, lean muscles were so pale and tempting. I couldn't help but swallow hard. Larry seemed to be getting impatient. He started to push the door open. I panicked and yelled, "Don't move. Hands up." The man froze, pulling his long leg back. He said in a muffled voice, "Towel." I grabbed the towel from the bed and timidly handed it to him. The next second, his strong, bony hand grabbed my wrist. He gave a gentle tug. And just like that, I fell, shoes and all, into the steamy bathroom. In the humid room, Larry had a short towel wrapped around his lower body. Water dripped from his wet hair, trickling down into the hollow of his collarbone. Vivian Lane. Hearing my name, I flinched and instinctively yelled, "Present." Damn it. Why did that sound like I was a dog being trained? I frantically looked away, trying to focus on the slightly reflective tiles. "Babe. The question you asked me before." The man's raspy voice was like a drug, slowly caressing my eardrums. No way. He recognized me all along, didn't he? And he was just pretending. My mind was in chaos. I could only keep backing away. My cheeks grew hotter as I tried to act calm. "What, babe?" "Mr. Cain, I don't understand what you're talking about." "Heh heh. Your autism is cured. It's a medical miracle. I'll go tell your grandfather right now." I hadn't even made it to the door. Thump. Larry slammed his hand against the wall, pinning me. Great, now the roles were reversed. The tall man's body slowly cornered me in the shadows. He narrowed his long eyes, breathing slightly heavily, the end of his sentence curling up like a hook. "Didn't you say you didn't want to miss the rest of my life after 20? Babe, want to inspect the goods for yourself and see?" I quickly turned my head, not daring to answer. But my gaze landed on the floor nearby, where the towel had fallen at some point. Instantly, my head started buzzing. "Babe, want to inspect the goods for yourself and see?" Something warm started trickling from my nose. God only knows how I escaped Larry's room. Autism? I didn't see any of that. All I saw was a man whose flirt game was maxed out. I have no idea where he learned to talk such a big game. Especially when I thought about that blush-inducing scene. What little conscience I had left vanished completely. I immediately called for backup, ready to make a run for it. Larry was faking it all along. He's got all his limbs, he's full of sweet talk, he's totally fine. Later that night, I was woken up by some familiar voices. I opened the window and looked out. Anna was timidly clinging to the balcony railing, whispering, "Sister Viv, your humble servant is here to rescue you from this fiery pit. Quick, quick, the night is dark and perfect for eloping." My head started to throb. I quickly pulled her onto the balcony. This was the second floor. What if she fell and broke a leg? "What are you doing here?" Anna dusted herself off and grinned. "Didn't you just say Larry Cain is a psycho? I'm here to help you escape back home. What if you fail to cure him and he forces you to marry him to ward off bad luck? I heard that guys who are broken, down there, are often into some weird stuff." Seeing her serious face, I wanted to cry but had no tears. "Anna. I'm starting to think you're really close to being a god." "A goddamn idiot." Anna pouted defiantly. "Well, you just said the word, and I came running, didn't I? By the way, Did Dex really give you the newest alligator skin bag? I want to see it. Sister, please, just let me touch it, just for a second. I'm easy to please. I glanced down at the height of the second floor. I couldn't just throw this unlucky kid off, could I? So, I had to take her back to my room. My professional habits kicked in, and Anna and I ended up on the floor, our heads stuck under the bed. Click. The flashlight beam was blinding. So, what do you think? It's pretty, right? This model is hard to order. By the way, sister, why do we have to look at bags under the bed? It's so exciting, like we're having an affair. Are you going to look or not? You talk so much. Boo-hoo, good sister, just let me touch it. I'll just touch it once, just for a second. After I touch it, I'll take you far away from here. Just as she finished, the door banged open, and Larry's voice cut in at the perfect moment. What, exactly, are you two doing? I jerked my head up in shock and slammed it against the bed frame. I couldn't stop groaning in pain. Larry's dark eyes narrowed. His usually calm expression was now frantic. His gaze darted between me and Anna. Are you really just looking at a bag? Then why are you hiding under the bed? Hearing this, we both rolled our eyes. Anna deliberately hugged my arm, taunting him. What else would we be looking at? You? Then why did I hear the word elope and something about running away? My temples started to throb. Anna, you and your big mouth. Seeing my evasive gaze, the man stood up anxiously. He knelt in front of me. His speech became halting. Babe, you can't leave. Don't just disappear without a word again, okay? I'm begging you. That time we were supposed to meet, I went. I was just hiding. I was afraid you'd hate me for being a mute. Instantly, his words fell like a gentle rain on my heart. Drip, drip, drop. Larry choked back sobs, his thick eyelashes wet with tears. I didn't mean to lie to you, I was just scared you wouldn't want to talk to me, that you'd ignore me. So I pretended I was still sick, still a helpless mute who couldn't take care of himself. That way, you'd feel sorry for me. The sheer volume of information from that one speech nearly overloaded Anna's brain. She frantically opened her phone. Mom, Dad, hold off on the escape plan. Change of plans, repeat, change of plans. I think I'm about to get a brother-in-law. For a moment, I was at a loss. I had to kick Anna, this little troublemaker, out of the room. Seeing me walk towards the door, Larry panicked and rushed to embrace me. Babe. Please don't go, okay? Don't be afraid of me. I just missed you so much, for these 3 years, you never replied. I thought you were just like them, that you hated me for being a mute. Hearing this, my heart sank. All the frustration that had built up over the days dissipated. My gaze fell on Larry. His back was so thin that the bones protruded slightly through his clothes. The man was covering his face and crying, tears seeping through his fingers. Babe, I've been trying so hard to learn to speak, to dress better, to get closer to you. Can you just give me one chance? Just one. Please don't disappear without a word again, okay? For a moment, my heart ached for him. Everything that had happened these past few days was like a tangled mess of string, wound tightly together. When it came to Larry, my first instinct was to run, to escape the memory of a relationship I had long buried. But now, I found myself reaching out, giving him a warm hug. It felt like we were finally continuing the story of our online romance that had ended without a proper conclusion. I'm not going to disappear, dark and mysterious. As 2 tears merged on the back of my hand, I stared into Larry's misty eyes, and my heart skipped a beat. That day we were supposed to meet, did you really come to find me? Larry paused. He lowered his eyes, his voice very, very low. Yes. I went. I was just afraid you'd hate me, so I only dared to watch you from a distance. I'm sorry. I didn't have the courage to approach you back then. I wasn't just a mute, I was a disabled person in a wheelchair. You were so beautiful and bright. How could I let you see me in such a pathetic state? The tall man seemed to shrink, his back hunching over as if he wanted to hide in the shadows. Later, you broke up with me. I knew your family forced you to do it. I also knew I wasn't good enough for you. I thought about it for a long time. If I could be like a normal person, maybe we could have had a future. So I practiced day and night, trying to overcome my psychological barriers. Vivian Lane, now I can finally stand before you. Can you give me another chance? A chance to stand by your side. Larry's pale face was flushed, and tiny tears glistened in his eyes like brilliant stars. It turns out, a lover's eyes are the eighth ocean. And all the unspoken love sinks to the bottom of them. So, with tears in my own eyes, I leaned in and kissed his forehead. We both had our reasons for what happened back then. I'm so happy to meet you again, my little boyfriend.